joining us today in person and on Zoom to kick off the 22-23 men's basketball season. We'll have Coach Young and student athletes today. We'll go right into questions. David Cunningham, if you'd like to ask the first question, we have mics, so if you raise your hand in the room, and we'll pass those around to you.
Mike, you last year you talked about how up and down it was, how much of a roller coaster it was. How did it change your perspective as a coach?
I don't know. Change. There's going to be peaks and valleys, especially over a 33, 35, 36 game season. David, you just you hang in there and keep showing up. And that team continued to show up and practice well. I can remember like it was yesterday. We were 2-7, 10-10, and the world's crumbling around me. But we strung a couple of games together and got some wind under our sails and became the type of team that we all knew we could become. And then, just so many highs and lows. We go to Clemson, and Clemson was playing good basketball. It was not a great matchup for us down there to end the year. We needed to win that game for a number of reasons, and they outplayed us, and we got beat. And then to the ACC tournament we go, a Clemson team again. We get a Darius Maddox, bomb to win that thing and move on. So every year is different. Each team is different. The personality. This team is different than last year's team with a number of pieces back. Just enjoy each day. Today's number 6, today at 12:45, and like every other team, I'm really enjoying this team and excited about what's in store for this particular team.
With a core of your guys back and a ton of fresh faces, what's the gelling process been like, and what do you like about this year's team?
They've got seemed to be a really nice chemistry among the group. The new people have been brought along and into the unit. Still figuring a number of things out. I think we have 5 new guys. We got a number of new guys, but that core group is back, and it's really a strong core group with Justin and Hunter. Sean Padula's really come into his own here. I think that process began I was talking about it with him last year or yesterday. The North Carolina game on the road, we'd lost to Boston College on Saturday. We had to go to Chapel Hill. It just wasn't playing very well. I watched. We have Liberty and Richmond coming up in scrimmages. He didn't play in the Richmond scrimmage in the first half, but he didn't pout and sulk. He hung in there, and boy, he's becoming a really, really good basketball player around here. Darius Maddox continues to get better. So, we're excited in Blacksburg.
Eric in the back right.
Coach, considering the new pieces you have, the core you have coming back, how did this kind of reinvigorate the standard that you guys want to not only continue to keep but also improve upon?
Inch by inch, to do that in year 3. And we had really good players, Eric. Really good players and a really good team that enjoyed competing with one another. And they were as mystified as all of us were, during the dark times back in January. Hope we don't have to go through that again. But I've always thought if your program is good and sound, we're always going to lose good players. We're going to lose mutts, unfortunately. And there better be good pieces, in the mix to come along behind them. And I think, the addition of John Camden, who's performed well to this point. Grant Basili's done a nice job. So, just continue to play good basketball, continue to be, more than competitive in the Atlantic Coast Conference, and let's see where the thing goes.
Mike, you've
lost some weight, Paul. You're looking good.
Thank you.
You
I'm
look
down
good.
about 50 pounds. I'm trying to get on your level, Coach. That's the
Damn.
plan.
You look good.
Thank you. With all of the returning players that you have coming back, does it change the way you all coach them?
I don't think it changes the way we coach them. It's such a pleasure to be able to point to Couture. That's how we do it. Padula, Maddox, Mutz is refined defensively more than offensively, and has become a very good offensive player. We haven't altered how we coach them. Demanding, but fair, and let each team and each person run his own race. We all know it's not going to be all ice cream and rainbows with this team. We've got a fair and challenging non-conference schedule. We open league play in here in early December with North Carolina. Go to Boston College. Go to Wake Forest. Around Christmas, New Year's Eve. It's a lot of reasons why we do it, but the competition and to see to bring each team along at their own pace is always a lot of fun for me and very challenging.
I won't ask you to tell us who. I won't put you in that spot. But if we rolled the ball out on the court today, do you have your rotation set?
No, I don't yet. I know that Maddox and Couture and Padula and Mutz are going to start. I know that. And Basili's going to play a lot at the 4 and the 5. He'll play with Mutz some. I do think that Malijah Poteet is going to be in the mix. I do think that Lynn Kidd is going to be in the mix. John Camden gives us some versatility at the 3. MJ Collins is having a very good preseason camp or whatever you want to call it. Rodney Rice is yet to practice. He will soon. We think he's going to be in the mix, and there are others. Again, I go back to Padula last year against Richmond. He didn't play in the first half. He didn't play in the first half because I wasn't comfortable. I didn't think he could help us win games. And lo and behold, I mean the contributions that he made, that Darius Maddox made coming off the bench a year ago. Now they're thrust into even more prominent roles, and they'll be ready to go with it. They're going to be good players for us.
One more, because radio people don't like to give up the microphone.
I've always noticed that.
Can you define success this year for us, please?
I've never and will never put win totals on it. NCAA tournaments. I have a good basketball team. Where does that begin and end? I don't know the answer to that. If we can bring this team along and get this team playing its best basketball in March, that's what I've always wanted to do. And if we're doing that, we've got a chance to be, darn good. But that's crazy talk. 20 wins. Just day by day. I know we're not very good right now, and we're not supposed to be very good. We're 5 practices in. I'm as fired up about it as I've ever been, and I'm having a great time working with this club. Jermaine,
what's up, Coach
the
Young?
legend himself.
That's you up there, actually. To be honest, I got 2 questions for you. Number one, every team or every coach, they have their type of guy. For you personally, could you define a Mike Young guy?
Let's go Justin Mutz. He's reliable. Jermaine, all we want to do is coach. I've made this point before. All we want to do is coach and not be concerned about silly stuff, not going to class, not taking care of business, in town and representing Virginia Tech and our basketball program in a positive light. Mutz has done that from the day he got here. I came in this morning about 8:30. He was in there working out. We'll practice today at 12:45. He'll stay after. He's serious. He is about the right stuff, and that's winning games and playing the game the right way. I've had a number of them. Hunter Couture, Keve Aluma, a bunch of them during our time here, and that that lends itself to pretty good ball.
The second question is, coming off an ACC tournament championship, how's that helped in recruiting?
There seems to be a few more of them that'll pick up the phone, but it's still recruiting. It's still hard, and the competition is fierce. It hasn't hurt. I'll put it that way.
Anthony?
Mike, as the reigning ACC champions, that might come with more of a target on your guys' back. Do you feel as if you might, other teams might be, up to play against you guys a little bit more this year? Obviously, the ACC is the ACC, but do you feel like you might be playing with a little more?
Yeah, maybe, Anthony. That's fine. Bring it on. Let's go. You know what you got, night in, night out in this league. And I do think, last time I checked, we had 4 teams in the Sweet 16, 3 teams in the Elite 8, 2 teams in the Final Four. And North Carolina played for a national championship. I thought our league was quite good a year ago. I think that our league is going to be even better this year. So if that's the case, so be it. I know our team will be excited about it. Our coaching staff will be excited about it. We look forward to getting into it.
And you talked about the non-con slate. Outside of those neutral site games, a lot of those bigger matchups come here at the Castle.
Yeah.
How much of an advantage?
I'll tell you what I'll never do. I'll never go back to Dayton. Holy cow, that's hard. And I've done it. I think I've done that 3 times, maybe 4 times in my career. I didn't learn my lesson the first 3 times I went up there. They're very, very good. I think the game at Oklahoma State is a good one. Minnesota in here in the ACC Big Ten Challenge. The tournament in Charleston will be good for us. We need a good roll on that. We need to take care of Virginia Tech first and play good basketball. So I think that we will, if we do the right things, we will help ourselves in November, December. But it's challenging, and we're going to have to play good basketball.
Will it be fun to go back to the Barclays Center?
Yeah, it will be. And they say that they'll have the banner, Virginia Tech banner. Any team that wins a tournament like that, whatever it might be, there'll be a banner, and it'll be good to be back in that arena. It will be. It's a great place, certainly a great city. I played against an old friend. Mike Boynton was on our staff at Wofford in 2006, 2007, I believe. One of my favorite folks, and we were going to play that game during COVID. That was knocked out for obvious reasons, but it'll be a pleasure to compete against his Cowboy team.
Mike, first.
What is your name? I'm sorry.
Sam.
Sam, good to see you.
First season in a while without Keve Aluma by your side.
Unfortunately.
You had such good chemistry with the Mutts last year.
Yeah.
How have you liked how the transfer and freshman big men have kind of meshed with the Mutts and the rest of the team?
We continue to think that that we have benefited more from the transfer portal than we've lost, and we've lost a couple that upset me, that bothered me. Were good players, but look at the totality of the thing. Mutts has certainly been unreal. Aluma came with me when I came here in 2019. I think it's helped us more than it's hurt us. Could that change as we go along? Maybe. But I do think that the players here are having a great experience academically, athletically, socially, and new times in college sports, and you better adapt and adjust. And I think we've done that pretty well.
And Darius Maddox specifically into his third year here and kind of stepping into a bigger role.
Yeah.
How have you seen him grow from his freshman year, kind of picking up the playbook to stepping in?
I think just in terms of his, confidence, can't put weight on him to save our lives, and he's tried. He's still about 187. Would like for him to be up above 195, 197, somewhere in there. But he's geared to score. Lace his shoes up and go out and score the basketball. Like all of them, the older they get, the more comfortable they become defensively with what you're trying to do, and he's doing a better job of keeping the ball in front of him. He's just a really good basketball player, and is poised to to have another really good year. I thought he was terrific over the last half of last year. I'll never forget that 20 points he had against North Carolina in the semifinal game. He was really good, throughout, and is ready to go. Looks good and healthy and practicing very, very well to this point. So very excited about Darius.
You mentioned last week about you feel like you'll have more of a scoring punch in the backcourt this year.
Yeah,
Can you kind of elaborate on that, what you're seeing in that regard?
I think we will. Now, Luma created some opportunities for guys, and the attention that he would bring with the ball in his hands. I think Mutz is a lot like that, but I do think that Maddox, Couture, Padula, are all capable night in, night out of scoring the ball. I think M.J. Collins is going to give us a nice punch off the bench in that regard, Mark. And Rodney Rice, that was kind of his, M.O. coming here, was his ability to score. So I don't think that scoring from the backcourt is going to ever be an issue. I hope I'm correct in saying that.
And you have a sense yet of what this team was going to be able to do really, really well and hang their hat on this year yet?
Yeah, that's an interesting question. I guess probably feel this way every year. I'm a lot more comfortable with where we are today and where we're heading offensively. We've got strides to make. Every team has strides to make defensively. We're going to have to rebound the ball well, and I am a tad concerned. Nothing that I've seen in our first 5 practices points me in that direction. But that will be. I know that Mutz is going to rebound every night. Our guards rebounded very, very well in the last third of last season. Maddox is very capable. Basili, Malijah Poteet, Lynn Kidd, those guys are going to have to rebound the ball at a very high level for us. They're capable and they're ready to do it. But that's a big key in this league, any league for that matter.
Sean Padula's recruiting story. How did you find him in Oklahoma and his development?
It was one of the most bizarre, just because of COVID. We couldn't have anybody on campus. We couldn't go off campus. I was very, very. The thought just makes me so uncomfortable to take someone off of film. I like to see them live. I like to see them move. That film, that's what you get. But the foot speed and how they interact with coaches and teammates and all that sort of thing, I didn't want to take one to take one. I'm not going to do that. Never have, and I'm not going to. So one thing leads to another. He's got some interest from Oklahoma State, I believe. But things progress. His mom and dad were not comfortable with him, nor would we be as parents, about committing to Virginia Tech without first seeing the campus. Well, his mom brings him to Roanoke, and they drive over to Blacksburg to visit campus, and he's outside of Honhurst, okay? He's outside of Honhurst with his mother, and we cannot go downstairs and say hello. Can't go meet them. Can't show them around campus. maybe, just maybe, somebody, I don't know that this happened, but maybe somebody left the door ajar so they could walk in and do a self-guided tour through our training room, through our weight facility, through our practice facility. Don't know that that happened. Maybe it did. One thing leads to another, and we take Sean, and he's becoming a whale of a player. Hope we never have to go through that again.
Where have you seen Sean grow the most?
The guy, and I guess you better have a little moxie about you when you're a smaller person. He's not a smaller person. He's 6'6", but I mean he's put together, and he's strong as an ox. But that guy, that's a confident man. I mean he's a tiger, and a joy to coach, and a really good basketball player.
John Camden's versatility.
Yeah, I think John's a big guy. John's 6'8", 6'9". Get his feet set, and he's a terrific perimeter shooter. Probably more of a three-man through this point in his year. I've always had a lot of we got a lot of mileage out of that four-guard lineup last year with four guards and Mutz or Aluma. And I think that John will allow us to do that some with this team because of his size. A backup for Mutz is important to us. Mutz has got to do a better job this year playing without fouling. I can't. He's too important to us, too valuable to us to be saddled with 2 fouls at the 8-minute mark of the first half, and now, we're trying to manage that through the rest of the half. So, those are things that we continue to work on.
Mike, you mentioned
Anthony, you're full of questions today.
I got a good one. You mentioned scrimmaging Liberty. You may not face a better shooter all year than Darius.
Yeah.
McGee. Is that a nice little early?
Yeah, it
season
is. We'll do a little work. I talked to Coach McKay, who's a great friend and great coach. We don't do a lot of scouting in those games. Admire greatly what Coach McKay has done at Liberty, but he's a special guy. He could lace them up for us. He could lace them up for anybody in the country and score 20 points. So we're going to spend a little more time on him. Just in terms of ball screen coverages and that'll be a great test for us, and one of those great tests that none of you guys are here about. I like those even more. That's a great day, and we'll have a full 40-minute game. We'll play another 10 or 20. I like those days. I hope I'm never asked to play an exhibition game while I'm here, and then we come back the following week here against Richmond. We scrimmaged Coach Mooney's Spider team in each of the 2 of the 3 years we didn't scrimmage anyone the COVID year. Those are great days, and I think real learning experiences and growing experiences for our team, and give the young people a little more a bigger bite of the apple than maybe you would if you were playing. Just gives MJ Collins, his first taste of the college game, the physicality and the speed, and trying to absorb a number of things. Those days are upcoming, and I look forward to them.
Let's go to Zoom now. David Teal.
David.
Good morning, Coach.
How are you?
I'm well, sir, and hope you're the same.
Good.
As you watched the NCAA tournament unfold last season, Notre Dame wins a couple games. Duke goes to the Final Four. Carolina goes to the national championship game. Did that give you an even greater appreciation for what you accomplished in Brooklyn?
Yeah, it did. It did, and I found myself pulling like crazy for those teams. What Miami did. And I think they were up at the half against Kansas. Coach Bray's Irish team did everything but win that game. I think it was Texas Tech, maybe. And then Duke was just superb, as was North Carolina. I went to, I'd never seen a Duke, North Carolina game in person. I went to that game in New Orleans. That's high-level basketball, but, for our team to go to Brooklyn, David, and beat a good Clemson team, P.J. Hall played very, very well, and their guards were good in that game. And then to, a quarterfinal with Notre Dame, we run out of there on them, 10, 12, 14. They cut it back. That was a really good Notre Dame team. Blake Wesley was terrific. He was picked in the first round. North Carolina, a great weekend for Virginia Tech and our basketball team. I certainly was quite proud of that.
You were third nationally, I believe, last season in three-point accuracy. With Couture and Maddox and Padula back, could this offense be similarly effective from beyond the arc, and maybe more so?
Maybe a little bit better. I do. David Aluma became so darn. He was a man around the basket. If you needed one, I could put the thing down there, and he could finish over his left shoulder, over his right shoulder. He didn't shoot it great a year ago. Basili shoots it better than Aluma. Basili does not do some other things that Aluma does well. This team could be better offensively. Should be better. Well, that's pretty good numbers from three last year. This team could look a lot like that bunch. Basili can really shoot the ball. Shot it well since he got here this summer.
And then just one more, since you're of my vintage. When I tell you that this is the first time since 1961 that neither Dean Smith nor Mike Krzyzewski will coach in this league, what does that make you think?
Never thought of it that way. I went to Coach Smith's camps. I think the old ACC, those 9 schools, and I saw it. The game of the week, the state or the Jefferson Pilot, that Wednesday game, you just relish that ACC game, whoever it was. And, they don't have 78 games on Saturday. There were a couple. And, Packer, Thacker, and those calls. And it was fascinating to think that one of those two gentlemen aren't coaching in this league now. To be able to coach against Coach Krzyzewski, I did it once at Wofford, and then I forget how many times here. What they've done for the Atlantic Coast Conference, what they've done for college basketball, great people, and Hall of Famers. Pretty special period for any league. This league certainly.
Thank you.
Hey, Coach. Good to see you. I'm curious, you mentioned your time at Wofford. Obviously, you were there a long time, built a consistent program. What are the differences in building a consistent winner in the ACC, if it is different? What have you found is maybe the key to getting this program consistent?
You know what, Mike? I've had quite a few people ask that same question, and I have given it some thought. We're not doing it any differently. Freddie Johnson's a great friend of mine at Greensboro Day School, and I remember first couple of weeks I went by. He's had a bunch of really good players. We just got a commitment from one of his players. I can't say his name, which I think's stupid. But Freddie asked me, "How are you going to change? How are you going to change basketball-wise? How's your recruiting going to change?" We haven't changed, and I told him, I said, we're going to try to do it the same way. And I don't know that I can, but we're going to try. We're doing the same things on the floor. We are recruiting the same kind of person in terms of character, in terms of those guys from good high school programs that are great teammates, good families, that are good players. That can shoot it, that can catch it, that can pass it. Are tough-minded folks. A little bit better player, yeah, better be in this league. But in terms of scheme in terms of, oh gosh, we've got to have, this. That hasn't touched me. It's not going to. We have an idea, I think, I hope, of what works for us, and we will continue to adhere to that formula.
David asked you about Krzyzewski and Williams and the guys who've been able to win consistently in the ACC. We've seen other programs kind of pop up, have a couple good years, pop back down, pop back up. Do you have a sense of how some teams are able to maintain? And do you have a feeling of whether or not what you're building is something that can sustain?
Yeah, I can tell you exactly how they sustain it. They had, look up and down that roster, a pretty good roster. It's good players, Mike, and let's be honest now, there's some luck involved. What we did a year ago, I guess we started the same lineup every game we played. That's a tribute to David Jackson, your strength coach, to Hisham Ziyut, your athletic trainer, and good old luck. We had some luck, and somebody goes down, and you gotta mix and match, and it gets hard. So I'm hopeful that we can have that same kind of luck with this team, and again, as I said earlier, I think we'd be pretty good again.
Thank you.
Last question on Zoom, John.
I just wanted to know, you got your ACC title ring a couple of weeks ago. Do you keep it locked in the safe? Do you wear it all the time on recruiting trips? Something else?
ACC championship ring, where is it?
David Jackson, our strength coach, who I just mentioned, made a really nice, I can't do anything. I mean, nothing. Ask my wife. I can't fix anything. I can't build anything. But David has this very nice piece of cherry wood that's been finished. It's beautiful, and I have all those rings and watches and all that stuff. And the Virginia Tech ACC Tournament Championship ring is right there in front. I'll never wear it. I can't get my hand in my pocket. If I need my wallet, which I don't, that thing is so big and bulky. Who in the heck would ever wear the doggone thing? But I've got it. It's in safekeeping. It'll be there to the end of time, and I'm proud of it.
That concludes today's press conference with Coach Young. We'll have student athletes to follow.
Good to see everyone.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, guys. Wish you well. Stay safe. David.